Hello everyone, Alicia here, and it is that time of year again to do my WW favorite recipes of the year. Now my husband and I have been doing Weight Watchers since 2010 and more consistently for the last 4 years now, I would say. But during all that time of doing Weight Watchers, we have a lot of different recipes that we love and have been making since the very beginning, but I also like to try out new ones every year and also come up with new ones every year. And so that's what this video is. I like to kind of pick my favorites from the year of the new recipes that I've either come up with or tried out. Now this video is going to be featuring dinner recipes. I will most likely be doing a separate favorite dessert recipes of 2023 video as well. So be on the lookout for that if you're interested in desserts and what my favorites of 2023 were. If any of these recipes look good to you and you want to check them out further, be sure to check down in the description box where I will have links to the full videos that I did on all 4 of these. And in those full videos, description boxes, you will find all the info as far as instructions, ingredients, points, calories, macros, WW recipe builder links, all that good stuff you're gonna find in the original videos description boxes. But let's jump in to my favorite new WW recipes of 2023. First up is cauliflower mac and cheese. Now I absolutely love mac and cheese. I would say it's probably my favorite comfort food of all time. And so when I got a request to do a cauliflower mac and cheese, I was really excited and very happy with how this turned out. It is absolutely delicious, and honestly, it is a great substitute for the real thing if you're trying to cut those calories and points. So first off, in a large pan here, I'm gonna get my Rumble & Brown melting. And again, that is 3 tablespoons. And I think I forgot to say, but I've got this on medium heat. And then over here, I've got a large pot of water that I'm bringing to a boil for my pasta and cauliflower. So now that Rumble & Brown is melted, I'm gonna add in my onions. I'm gonna just let those cook in there for about a minute or so. And now I'm gonna add in my garlic, about a teaspoon, maybe a little more. I'm gonna let that cook in there for about a minute. Now I'm gonna add in my flour. Stir that in real well. I'm gonna just let this cook in here for just a couple minutes or until it starts to brown a little bit. I'll let that cook in there for about 2 minutes, and I'm going to add in my chicken broth. Start whisking that all together. Now I'm going to add in my almond milk. And whisk that in. Now I'm going to increase my heat to medium-high, and I want to just continue to stir this and let this come to a boil. And then I'm going to just keep stirring it or whisking it for a few minutes or however long it takes once it comes to that boil to start to thicken up. Over here my water has come to a boil, so I'm going to add in my pasta and my 2 bags of cauliflower. And I'm going to just let this cook in here until that pasta is al dente. So probably about 7 minutes, maybe a little more. Again, I've never cooked with this pasta before, so I'm gonna just cook it until it is al dente, and then I'm going to rinse and drain it and set it aside. I've been cooking this about 8 minutes, maybe a little bit more, and I have been stirring it most of that time just to prevent this from getting scorched kind of on the bottom. But it's to a point, I think, where it's thick enough now. So I just turned off my heat. Now I'm gonna mix in the rest of the ingredients for it. I'm gonna add in about ½ teaspoon of dry mustard. Whisk that in. Some black pepper. And again, if you wanna add salt, you can. Here's my cheese that I've mixed all together. I'm gonna add most of this. I'll probably reserve, I don't know, a cup or so. for the top, I'm gonna just mix that in until that cheese melts. Then I'm gonna add in my ½ cup fat-free Greek yogurt. You could use fat-free sour cream also if you want. Whisk that in. And now I'm gonna pour in my pasta and cauliflower and stir that in real well. Also, I've got my oven preheating right now to 375. All right, I'm gonna get my casserole dish and get this poured in. I've got a 9x9 inch casserole dish here, and I'm gonna just spray it with a little bit of cooking spray. I always forget to show this in my ingredients list, but I'm just using this nonstick olive oil spray. Now I'm gonna just pour this in. Spread it out evenly in there. And now I'm gonna take my remaining cheese. And again, I set aside about a cup of that. And I'm gonna just sprinkle that evenly on the top. And now this is ready to bake at 375 for about 15-20 minutes, or until that cheese is nice and melted on top. I let this cook right at 20 minutes and it's looking good. So I pulled it and I'm gonna let it cool just a little bit before I get a serving size out. And I'll go ahead and taste it too and let you guys know what I think of it. I have got a serving of that, which is a 1/6 of the total. And the points for WW are gonna be 8. Now, if you wanted to lower those even more, again, you could do all cauliflower with this. And I believe that lowers it another point per serving. Or you could make the serving size a little smaller too, because that is a pretty good size serving, a 1/6 of that total. So yeah, this smells really, really good. It looks nice and creamy. I don't know if that's picking up on the camera, but I'm really excited to give this a try. See what it tastes like, because it smells delicious. So let me hop on the other side of the camera here and I will give this a taste. Okay, I'm gonna give this a try. I am really excited to try this. I love macaroni and cheese, like I said in the beginning. I would say it's probably one of my top comfort foods. Let me know what your guys's are, but macaroni followed by bread, probably, or bread followed by macaroni. I don't know, it depends on the day. Macaroni is way up there. So I'm gonna give this a taste. I'm gonna get a little bit of the noodles so I can try those chickpea noodles, and then a little bit of the cauliflower and the sauce and the cheese. That's really good. Honestly, I want to say that I can tell it's lightened, obviously, because it is lightened, but it still has a really rich flavor. You can really taste the cheese, which, I mean, when you're talking about macaroni and cheese, that's kind of the most important thing. And I think the combination of the different cheeses in there, because I used the sharp and the mozzarella and Parmesan, I think that's a nice combination, but you could use whatever type of cheese you want. That being said, I just really think sharp goes in here especially well, and then the Parmesan as well. And the mozzarella, just kind of a more mild one to add to the mix. But yeah, that sauce is very good. I would say that I like this one, the cauliflower mac and cheese, better than my broccoli mac and cheese that I have already. And again, this is basically just a variation of that. I made a few changes to that, but this is delicious. I could probably get in trouble with this one if I wasn't careful, but I mean, that is a good sized portion really. For 8 points, I could probably stick to that and be okay. But yeah, that really satisfies the mac and cheese craving for me. So I will be making this one in the future. Let me know if you guys try it, what you think of it. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Real quick, I want to let you guys know what I thought of that chickpea pasta. I realized as I was editing this that I did not say anything about it. I was too focused on the sauce with this. But that pasta was really good. The texture was great. The flavor, I think, was similar to like a whole grain pasta. But if you are looking for a gluten-free pasta, I would definitely try this one out. Next up is cheesy taco soup. Now, I love making soups during the fall and winter. I just think they're nice and cozy. And so I'm always looking for new recipes. And when I saw this one, I knew it would be one I wanted to lighten up, make a little more Weight Watcher friendly. And I was really glad that I did because we really enjoyed this one. And I have made it so many times since this first time I made it. In a large nonstick pot here, I've got it on medium-high heat. I'm gonna add in my burger and my veggies. And I'm gonna just cook both of those in there until that beef is browned and those veggies are softened. Now that my beef is browned and those veggies are nice and softened, I'm gonna add in my couple teaspoons garlic, stir that in, and let that cook in there for about a minute or so. And now I'm going to add in my beef broth, my can of tomatoes, can of rotel, cup of salsa, 2 tablespoons taco seasoning, and then I'm gonna stir that all together really well. All right, now that I've got this all stirred in, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this come to a boil. And again, I've got this on medium-high heat, so I will let this come to a boil and then I will be back. This has now come to a boil, so I'm gonna turn down the heat to low and I'm gonna let it simmer for about 15 minutes. I've let this simmer about 15 minutes, so now I'm gonna add in my fat-free half and half cup Greek yogurt, and my 1.5 cups cheese. Now I'm gonna just stir this in until that's all combined and that cheese is melted. All right, I've got this all stirred together. That cheese is all melted in here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to figure out how many servings I get, and then I'll be back and we'll give it a taste and see how it tastes. I measured this out and I ended up getting about 13 cups almost. It made quite a bit, really big bowl of it. But anyway, I've got it factored in as 12 cups just for simplicity's sake. And so a cup serving of this is gonna be 4 points, or you could do 2 cups for 8 points. Anyway, it smells really good. Not too bad point-wise. We'll go ahead and give it a try and see what it tastes like. All right, I got
the hubs
here. Let's give this a try. Smells good. 4 points for that amount.
Look how lovely that is. It's all colorful.
It is very colorful. Full of veggies.
You can tell it's rich and hearty.
Here's hoping. Although our weather has now warmed up again, it can't make up its mind. It's cold and warm. Oh, good, huh?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna grab a spoon back here and take a bite out of the bowl. Yeah.
So you get the real cheesy flavor. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing I get. Which
is funny because looking at it, right, you know, it's pretty soupy, for lack of a better word. And so it's like, I wonder if that cheese is going to translate.
It really does.
I'm gonna take
and then the sweetness and the spice of the peppers and onions.
Mmm.
And then finally the beef, which is a nice flavor.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's really good. Now, I don't taste the cheese as much as what you're saying, but it's got a nice...
That's the first thing I get.
Nice taco flavor.
Yeah, really good. You did really good on the seasoning.
The original recipe had like 3 to 4 tablespoons, and to me that was like, that is way too much. At least for us.
Yeah.
So I went with 2. I halved it, and I think it's definitely enough. It's got a really good flavor.
Yeah.
All right, so 4 points I think is pretty good for that too. Again, you could do 2 cups for 8, which I still think is not bad because that would be a really good serving size. Yeah. But yeah. All right, guys, that was easy, cheesy taco soup. Easy and cheesy. Next up was Copycat Olive Garden Chicken Scampi. Now this was another viewer request. And I love it when you guys give me requests to make things or lighten things up like this, especially the copycats. They're a lot of fun to do. And this one just turned out so delicious. It is full of flavor and not full of all the points though that you would get if you were to eat this at the restaurant. So really enjoyed this one. This is another one that I've made several times since the first time of making it. And again, I love it when you guys send me requests like this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bowl here. I'm going to add in my flour, tablespoon of Italian seasoning, about a 1/4 teaspoon, or to taste, salt, and then same with the black pepper, about a 1/4 teaspoon. Then I'm going to just whisk all of that together. Now that I've got this all mixed together, I'm going to take my chicken tenders and just kind of toss them in that. Okay, I've got those all covered with the flour mixture, and as you can see, I've got a lot of flour left over here. Most of it, honestly. So if you want, you could definitely use probably about half that amount of flour and seasoning and have enough. But I am going to have it factored in as I'm showing it here, but I did want to point that out. You could probably save yourself a few points with the flour by not using as much. So over at my stove here, I've got a large pan and I'm heating that up on medium-high heat, and to that I'm going to add a tablespoon of olive oil, which I completely forgot to show in the ingredients list. But as always, I will have it down in the description box with the rest of the ingredients, as well as it is in my WW Recipe Builder link. So I'm going to heat that oil up in there, and then I'm going to add in my chicken, and I'm going to start with the larger pieces to get those cooked first. But I'm going to just cook this for a few minutes on each side. That one just fell right in there. Until it reaches an internal temp of 165. So I'm going to start again with the larger pieces. These are all a little different sized. So I'll cook those larger ones first, since they should cook about the same rate, and then I will cook my smaller ones. But once I've got those done, I will be back. This is my second batch of chicken here, and it is checking definitely well over. So these are done, and now I'm going to remove my chicken onto a plate here. Then I'm going to just set this aside, and then in the same pan I'm going to add in my veggies, and I'm going to cook those in there for a few minutes until they're tender. I'm also going to add a little bit of the Italian seasoning to them, probably about a 1/4 teaspoon. And then just a little bit more salt as well. This is all just kind of to taste. But again, I'm going to just cook them in here until they're nice and softened. And then over here, in a large pot, I've got some water boiling. I weighed out my spaghetti. And again, that's 8 ounces. I'm going to add that into my water. And I'm going to just cook this according to the package until it's al dente. And then once that's done, I'll go ahead and drain it and set it aside. I cooked these veggies in here for just about 5 minutes. So I'm going to remove these and set them on a plate. And then in that same pan again, I'm gonna add in my tablespoon butter spread. Let that get melted in there. Then I'm gonna add about 4 teaspoons minced garlic. Cook that in there for about 30 seconds or so. I'm adding my chicken broth, my wine, and my half and half. And I'm gonna whisk all that together and bring it to a boil. Now that that's come to a boil, I'm gonna add in my Parmesan cheese, and I decided at the last minute to switch it up to just a grated like this. I think that's gonna melt in here a whole lot better than the shredded that I had. So I'm gonna add that in. I'm gonna whisk that in. That shredded I had has a coating on it to keep the cheese from sticking together in the bag, and sometimes that doesn't work too well when you're trying to melt it. So if you have freshly grated, that would be really good, I think. Yeah, I wish I had fresh. I think that would be really good in this, but I do not. So I'm gonna just continue to mix this until that cheese completely integrates and melts into the sauce. I will let this cook for about 5 minutes on a medium-low heat, just to make sure all that got nice and melted in there. So that's looking good. So now I'm gonna add back in my veggies and my cooked pasta. Turn off my heat and kind of just get this all mixed together. Got that all mixed together. Now the recipe I'm using is showing just adding all the chicken to the top. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna add my chicken to my individual servings. I'm gonna divide this into 6 servings and then again add my chicken to the individual ones. So I will get some of this plated up, show you what it looks like, and give you points. Okay, I've got a serving of this plated up. I measured this and weighed it. It was just over 3 pounds total, and then I got just over 8 cups total. So I factored this in at 6 servings, which would make the serving about 1 1/3 cups, and then with 1/6 of the chicken, which is what I've got here for the chicken. I just took one of those tenders, sliced it up, put it on top. So the total points for this are gonna be 8. I will have my hubby give it a try, see what he thinks of it. Went ahead and just put the rest of these in containers, so they're all ready to go for meals this week. And this should last a good several days, I would say, in the fridge. Not that they're gonna last us that long, but I would say these will last probably up to a week. All right, I got him.
Need a napkin.
Need a napkin. Zoom in on that a little bit more. It has cooled down a little bit while I was waiting for him to get over here, but it should still be good.
Okay.
8 points.
It smells wonderful.
It does smell really good.
Mm. I don't know what to say about that other than it tastes like really good chicken.
Just the chicken, yeah.
Yeah. Mm. So the presentation obviously is really nice.
Zoom off you a little bit. I was right up on you.
Like I said, the chicken's really good. The nothing's really jumping out at me.
Flavor-wise?
You know, a lot of times I can, oh, this has really come to the front.
Can you taste the wine in there? A lot of people don't like when there's wine in a recipe, but I mean, it cooks off. And and sometimes you can't even necessarily taste it.
So I can taste the wine a little bit. It's very pleasant. The onions coming through, the Parmesan is really adding a nice flavor to it, and the peppers really go with.
Before you before you take that bite, have you had chicken scampi at Olive Garden before? That's what this is supposed to be a light and copycat of. I have not. Okay.
And well, if I have, it was about 35 years
yeah,
ago.
so you can't compare then. Yummy. Winner. It's another chicken dinner. All right, well, I'm going to taste it later because I'm still fasting. It's only noon. I got another couple hours ago. But yeah, it smells amazing.
Tastes
I can
amazing.
say that. So I'll write what I think about it across the screen when I eat it.
I mean, I can't really say anything more. It's just it's really an excellent dish.
What do you think about 8 points for that?
Oh, totally worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
I want to have this again. Anyway.
Oh, you want me to make it again, you're saying? All right. Next up was Sloppy Joe Shepherd's Pie. This is just a Sloppy Joe twist on one of my favorite recipes to make, shepherd's pie. I love how this one turned out. It was absolutely delicious, family friendly, and one I've made so many times since. This starts with getting some chopped up potatoes steaming for your mashed potatoes that are going to go on the top of this. So I've just got mine in there and I'm going to let those steam until they are fork tender. And then in a large pan on medium-high heat, I'm going to add in a pound of lean ground turkey. I'm using 93% lean. And then some chopped onion. I'm going to go ahead and pepper this a little bit, and then I'm going to cook the two of those together until that turkey is browned and those onions are softened. I'm then going to add in a little bit of minced garlic and let that cook in there for about a minute or so, along with some chili powder and some ground cumin. I'm going to just stir all those together and let them cook for about a minute. I'm then going to add in some no sugar added ketchup and some no sugar added barbecue sauce. I really like this G. Hughes barbecue sauce. Now I'm going to add in some no calorie brown sugar. I'm using Lecanto brown, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, some Dijon mustard, and then there I've got a couple of dill pickle spears that I just diced up into small little pieces. I'm going to give that a stir. Finally, I'm going to add in some frozen corn that I let slightly defrost. I just got this out when I got out all the rest of my ingredients, so it has started to defrost a little bit. I'm going to stir that in really well, and then I'm going to just let this cook for another minute or so until my potatoes are done. Back over at your potatoes. Once those are fork tender, you're going to drain those, and then you're going to add in a tablespoon of a light butter spread. I use Brummel & Brown. A little bit of salt and pepper to taste, and then about a 1/4 cup of fat-free Greek yogurt. You're then going to just mash that all together until your potatoes are nice and smooth. Then you're going to take a 9x9 inch casserole dish, spray it with a little bit of cooking spray, and you're going to pour your meat mixture into that. Smooth it out nicely, and then you're going to add your mashed potatoes to the top and try to evenly smooth those out the best that you can. That's a little tricky because these kind of press down as you're doing that, but just do the best that you can. Once you've got those smoothed out, you're going to take some low-fat cheese. I'm using this Kroger reduced fat sharp cheddar, and you're going to just sprinkle that on top of your potatoes nice and evenly. And then you're going to bake this at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until that cheese is nice and melted and looks like this. Here is dinner. I've got a serving of that shepherd's pie, which I have factored in as a 1/6 of the total, and that is 8 points. All right, since this is new, thought I'd have my hubby give it a try. I've already tried it off camera, and I really, really like it. So we'll see what he thinks of it.
Smells like Sloppy Joe.
It does. It smells really good.
Try to get a cross section there for you.
I'm need to pick it up somewhat.
So, great combination. I'm a big fan of Sloppy Joe. One of my favorite childhood dishes, and that's a really good element of that. It's sweet, it's tangy, and then you have the kind of the rich, hearty comfort food element of the potatoes and the cheese that come kind of on the back end. Really good pairing. You know, so you got kind of a very traditional comfort food, and then like a childhood favorite of I'm sure of a lot of people, all wrapped up into one there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a winner.
Yeah, I really like it too, especially I mean I love potatoes and cheese, and you pair that with sloppy joes, and it's kind of hard to go wrong. Our dog is growling at something out the window right now. But anyway, yeah, that is a winner in my book too. Sloppy Joe, shepherd's pie. And that brings us to the end of our favorite WW recipes of 2023. The dinner version anyway. As I said, I will have my dessert favorites of 2023 video out shortly after this one, so be on the lookout for that if you want to see those. And as I said before, be sure to check out the description box below for links to the full videos on all 4 of these recipes. I will also have links to my previous WW favorite recipes of the year, 2020, 2021, and 2022. So you can check those out if you're interested as well. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.